Hello there. It's been a little while, huh? YouTube. Not seen you in a bit. It's me. Still your boy. Still H to the Z. Still talking about Smite. I could have gone into a still DRE bit there, but I don't know if I have the ability right now. Don't know if I have the cognitive skill to come up with some rhymes on the spot. But anyway, yeah, we got SPL. It's coming back. It's coming back. We've had 2 weeks off after John Finch's passing. Very sad. But we are going to be back as of tomorrow, the 3rd. Thursday, the 3rd of June. It is... I need to 100% make sure on that. Yeah. It is Wednesday. You know how those pandemic days go. Everything kind of blends into one. I don't know if a lot of you are working full-time as well, but it's a bit... God. It's a bit... it's tough to differentiate between day to day. Just sitting at this desk. But anyway, we're going on a little bit. Yeah, today I'm going to talk about the format changes they brought in. They lost 2 weeks of playtime for the SPL, so they have switched up the format. We'll have a quick discussion about that. And then we'll talk about the 2 patches that have come in the last little while, and talk about how that's going to affect comp play, because it's been 2 patches since we last saw SPL. Things have changed, and I'm interested to see how the teams will deal with it. But let's start off with the format changes. I'll bring up my Firefox so you can see. I'm in the top right now. Hello. Talk about the adjusted format. Originally, League was going to be double round robin. All teams would have played each other twice, and then we would have just had the top teams by standings at the end of that go into the group stages. Top 6 it would have been. Now the top 2 teams will be drafting groups. So right now, I guess if we go, how's the standings looking? It would be the Leviathans and the Dragons right now would draft, although the Kings are just in behind. So right now, as it stands, Leviathans and Dragons would draft, but we'll see. It depends how these final games go. But yeah, we'll see who drafts, and it goes first. It's like a snake with a double pick, so it's first, second. The other team picks, and then the last team picks. I don't know. So this presumably will be one of the other top teams. I mean, if you consider it a top 3 right now between the Dragons, the Kings, and the Leviathans, like I do, you got to assume that whichever of those 3 doesn't make it will be this last pick, and will be in the second team's group. And yeah, this will probably be the Valkyries, and you're talking like Scarabs and Warriors, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying. Maybe not Warriors, who knows. But yeah, there's going to be a draft, and then there will be each team in the group will play each other once, so that'll be 6 total games for each group. First of all, we got to, I guess it's worth noting, first of all, you can tell I'm not very prepped for this, huh? We've got to finish out the season first. There's a game left for each team, I believe. So we've got to finish out the season. So yeah, those matchups go. I did do predictions for these before. Dragons will win, I think. Kings will win, I think. Leviathans will win, I think. And Bolts will win, I think. I mean, that's just, if you go by the standings, that's what's going to happen. But you never know. Upsets do happen often, as we saw from our last week of play when the Dragons lost 2 sets in a row, which was very interesting. But anyway, we'll see that draft on Friday after the SPL. And then we'll get into the group stage matches from Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to watch. We'll see how the meta's evolved and how teams have adjusted to it. I wonder if we'll see some teams start slow once again. We know that, for example, the Titans started super slow in the SPL this year, and they've just, as they've gained momentum, it's probably worst for them and maybe the Scarabs, the fact that the league has suddenly stopped just as they started to gain some momentum. Bolts as well, I suppose. We'll see, and I wonder if teams like maybe the Kings will come in hot once again, maybe the Valkyries will come in hot once again. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Maybe this reset will do something good for the Warriors or for the Valks. Yeah, we shall see. the effects of this over the next... By this time next week, we should have a good idea, I think, of how the break has affected teams and how they've adjusted due to it. But one other thing that they're going to have adjusted to over the last couple weeks is, well, the last 4 weeks, in fact. No, yeah, the last 2.5 weeks or whatever since the last patch came out. The patch came out yesterday, and the big patch came out 2 weeks ago, and we haven't had any SPL in between. So, scroll down. We're going to talk about this patch. Most important note: no more flickering bushes. No, that is not a double entendre or whatever. We'll have no more flickering bushes in Spectre, which is cool. Immune, I think, gets fixed in the... I don't know if it gets fixed in the bonus balance or in the next one. We'll see. But anyway, this stuff's all basically... doesn't really matter. Wind Demon, slight nerf. Still think it'll probably be picked up in any crit build that happens. But it does reduce the efficacy of those builds. Loses half of the MS. Loses a quarter of the attack speed. That's not... it's a decent amount. Both on the passive, but still decent. Shell change. This is the biggest change of this patch, in my opinion. This brings so much more viability of a lot of jungle gods. I really like the change. I think perhaps it's been slightly over-nerfed and we probably won't see much shell at all. But I don't know. I haven't really done the maths on how long the shield's going to last on people. Maybe they'll have to change this to be a duration-based thing rather than a duration of the shield, if you know what I mean, at some point, to make it a little bit more viable against both auto attackers and hunters, auto attack assassins and hunters, but we shall see. But for now, this brings a lot of assassins back into the meta. I think we'll probably see at least 1 or 2 dajjis. We could see some Bakasura, we could see some Kali, we'll probably see more Erlang, could see some Mercury. I think it does a lot for a lot of gods. I mean, Dajji is the big one, and any other Hydra's god who loses a lot on the proc. Loses their Hydra's proc, loses your poison proc if you're a Circuit, for example. If the shell is blocking your A, which has an added effect on it, it's a big deal. Dajji won. So, super cool to see that change come through. It's one that a lot of people have been pushing for a while. I think it's going to be great for the meta. I think it's really good for guys like Johnny. Johnny loves a hyper carry jungler, Bakasura, Kali, that kind of thing. Dajji he even plays, which isn't necessarily a hyper carry, but just giving people, and junglers especially, a little bit more room to play new things and to innovate is good in my books. Timeline actually got changed. It got a decent addition of power. It's actually... It's getting there, I think, to the point where we could see it picked up. If you're really far ahead, or if you're on a god, I don't know, maybe... I don't know. Also, I don't know why this is docked over to the left. Yeah. I think this is getting there. I still don't think we'll see it often, or maybe at all. But it's on the way up. Maybe another buff and it'll start being picked up. Archmage Jam, 200 mana. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a starter upgrade. You're not going to be caring too much about mana. I don't really... I mean, yeah, we'll let it synergize with other mage items that care about mana, so it's good with Book of Toth, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't really make sense to me, this change. Doesn't really do much to the item. It's just a weird, like, tacking on of an extra stat. But, I mean, whatever. Gemma Focus, another 10 power. We'll see. Could still be viable on certain gods who won't take advantage of Archmage's passive so well, but want to go down that route. I think mostly we'd see them go down the... What's the one that's not timeline called? The Hourglass one, whatever that is. I think mostly we'll still see mages go down that route, but we'll see. Bomba Spear, this is when there becomes too many numbers and things said for me to tell you what's going on. At 10% CDR, remove 200 mana, 10% power buff for 10% duration, for 10-second duration after jungle camp structures and jungle bosses. No longer provides bonus gold on jungle camps, structures, and jungle bosses. I just don't think this is very good, to be honest, because you get this upgrade at level 20, right? At that point, are you really fighting after you kill a tower, after you kill a jungle boss, after you kill Jungle camp, no. In my opinion, you use your skills to kill camps, and then you don't have much going on. Maybe you could use it to set some stuff up. I have no idea how you could utilize this 10% power buff consistently. It just doesn't really suit Comp Smite, in my opinion. It doesn't suit the way the game's played at level 20. I think there's been a few like that, a few of these upgraded relics where they've come in and they've, for example, adding 200 mana to Archmages. It just doesn't make sense to me as the item is bought at level 20, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Boomba's Spear will suddenly appear in the meta. It does have 10% CDR on it now. I guess that's a nice buff, but yeah, I'm not sure. Mannequin's Hidden Blade, again, this is one where I find it hard to judge based on what it's going to do. I mean, this increased bonus damage is no joke. 20% off of the proc. I don't know exactly how Mannequin's Hidden Blade works, to be honest. Again, I'm not very prepped, am I? It doesn't have basic attack power anymore, but has 60 physical power. I don't know what the basic attack power was, how much basic attack power it had. But I've seen it a little bit in ranked. I feel like it could be viable for sure. We're not going to find out until this weekend. Seer of the Jungle. More attack speed on it. The ward seeing passive is super weird. So again, a weird late game thing. I don't really, the proc is just a strange thing to have on a late game item, in my opinion. Warrior's Axe. This is one where I think this will make a difference. I think Warrior's Axe was already being played a little bit, especially, I mean, we saw it in the EU SCC from Deathwalker. I don't know how many of you all watched that, but Deathwalker seems to have had a new lease of life recently in the solo lane, and a lot of that has been off him playing this Osiris with Warrior's Axe. He goes Boots Rush, and then, oh, there's a car leaving. That's going to be loud, sorry. I like having my window open during the summer. It's really nice out, so letting some fresh air in. Apologies for the ambient noise. But Warrior's Axe being better, just for the laning phase is good. Some people will be doing Boots Rush, as I mentioned, into Warrior's Axe in the second item slot. So you rush Boots, come back, get Warrior's Axe after that. Sundering Axe is looking like a strong item for people who want to stack prots as well late game and are able to spam abilities and hit people. And this just makes it a little bit stronger in the lane. Shorter cooldown, stealing more health. Lets it compete with Bluestone a little bit more. Bluestone's still going to be that sort of lane bully item, the one that's going to give you more pressure for the first few waves for sure. But Warrior's Axe starting to slip in there and be an option as well. Warding Sigil up 5 prots. I don't know if this is going to be bought that much right now. I think Warrior's Axe is probably the one that you would go on characters you're going to go Warding Sigil on, but we will see. Yeah, just got a bit of prot. Increasing its physical protection to make it a more compelling choice against all gods who do ticks of small damage rather than being a magical god counter. I don't really understand that statement. And the prot's as effective on dot damage as they are on big amounts of damage, excluding rounding. I don't know if rounding always rounds down or something in Smite. I should probably know that. But anyway, fixed a bug with benevolence. Apparently people were spamming triple benevolence in Joust, so yeah. Compassion, they buffed it for some reason, really odd. I expect to basically only see these two. Maybe some Animosity in the SPL. I don't think we'll see too much Sentinel's Boon or Sentinel's Embrace, but maybe I'm wrong. I feel like Benevolence is just widely regarded right now to be the stronger item. Charon's Coin did not need a buff, by the way. It is really strong. I think we're going to see it in the first slot of a lot of mages builds now. A little bit cheaper, a little bit more power. Makes it even better in the early game. It's obviously not going to be as strong as going a Spear of Deso or a Divine Ruin in that slot for the early power spike, because Flat Pen is king early on. But the Charon's Coin, you start to get it stacked up. I really don't think it needed a buff, to be honest. I thought it was already pretty darn good, and this will elevate it. I mean, it's so nice to build that Lost Artifact in that tier 1 magical slot, and I think Charon's Coin's just a better option over Rod right now for comp level play. I think even ranked level play, to be honest. But yeah, I like this item. I think it's very good. I think this is probably a buff it didn't need. So expect to see it in the meta a lot. Pick of Toth. I don't know. I haven't done the math for this. Haven't seen the item a whole lot since the changes came through. I assume it didn't really matter. We'll see. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Book of Toth. So I mean, the only person I think we've seen it on Culkin a bit, and I've seen it in the SCC. Leon's built it on Scylla. I don't know if on any other characters, but I still don't love it. I think, yeah, I think if you want to go slow item, you're better going the one that's going to make your late game build better as it is, and that's going to be your Charon's coin. So I think that's just the better kind of, if you want a slow build item, then Charon's coin's the better one to go. But yeah, a little bit of extra MP5 on there is always nice. Spear of the Magus has 12% lifesteal on it now. Kind of neat. I wonder if this will add some viability to any characters having a flat pen item. I think it's going to be pretty good on some of the auto attackers. Sol, I think, could probably make pretty good use of Magus right now. It's going to go well with well, what's it called? What's the Typhon's Fang? It's going to go well with Typhon's Fang and Lifesteal Boots in a build. Could be pretty nice, but we shall see. If we see it, maybe we'll see some Anubis with Magus. Maybe Anubis Magus is back. Who knows? Mail of Renewal. I don't care. I don't care. Stone of Foul. 150 off, and we don't care about the purse rework, really. Gilga. A little bit of a nerf. Tiamat, a little bit of a nerf. I think this is a cool nerf to see. We'll see how Tiamat plays without the split pushing being as strong. Gilga is now available in the SPL, by the way, worth noting. He's in. Yeah, God knows. I think he's going to be very high priority. I think there's a lot of very high priority gods right now, to be honest. Gilga and Tiamat, I think, probably won't get through. Baka gets a buff alongside the Shao changes, which is cool. We'll see if he is picked up. A little bit of a lower cooldown on his 3, so true damage more often. Bellona gets another buff. So if people are going to play Bellona in your ranked games, I'm sorry. Bad solo laners are going to pick Bellona and feed, and you're going to lose. Hopefully we don't see her too much in the SPL. We could see her as a counter to Nem, maybe, now that the disarm gets rid of the Nem retribution shield, but we'll see. Chiron. He's knock up immune while galloping. Giddy up. Whenever I see this ability, I think of Nate. Nate always used to call Nate Ataraxia, sorry. He always used to call his giddy up. He always used to say, I can giddy up them, and stuff like that in comms, which is it's just not good comms, but it was always funny. But yeah, now knock up immune. Might see some more Chiron. I think he is decent. Could see him as a late hunter pick. Probably another one who's going to struggle into that horrible matchup that is Anher. Although perhaps this makes it better. Now when Anher leaps in on you, just 3, you're knock up immune. You dash away, you're fine. But we shall see. Dajji, another one who gets a buff alongside the shell change, which is strange. I feel like that's... I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to balancing a game. But yeah, I think doing this plus the shell change when she was already being picked every so often in the SPL, despite shell just completely neutering her, is interesting. Faf buff. Reduce the cooldown on his 1 and his 3, which is cool. I think Faf is good right now. I do think Faf is good right now. I think upgraded Sunder in his 1 is pretty nice. I don't know how well that's going to go in comp, but we'll see. It's very safe, can split team fights really well with his ult. I think I would like to see Jake jumping back on the Faf and maybe some other people playing it, maybe PBM and stuff like that. I definitely think Fafnir is viable and in a decent state in the support meta. So expecting to see some of him. Hera buff. A little bit extra scaling on her 2, and her 3 gets a little bit more health. It did get thoroughly neutered. And I played against Hera recently, and she did seem to be kinda back. It's not a whole lot of an increased late game, 20 health. But yeah, it's just a little bit more efficient. Maybe we'll see Dardes play it. I don't know. weird Culkin buff, another one who I don't think needed a buff. He's already in a good spot. But they reduced his 2's cooldown over time. This is only movement ability, not too bad. Medusa, healing debuff increase. And she still sucks, don't worry about that. Mulan, I think probably still sucks. Yeah, I mean, they didn't change her abilities. Still bad. And yeah, there you go. There we go. That's that patch. We got one more patch to go through real quick. Bonus balance. This is the one that went live yesterday. And it's not a good idea to scrim on bonus balance. So the players actually won't have had a lot of time to practice on this before SPL tomorrow. I don't know what I just said. It's not good. It sucks to scrim on patch day, is basically what I'm saying, because the servers are not reliable. So we'll see. Some hunter hits. Enhanced purple change. Not sure that was necessary. Don't think anybody really cared. No, I don't think anybody was saying, oh no, I lost that trade because the enemy had enhanced purple. Maybe they were and I just hadn't seen it, but it's just a strange balance point. I didn't think anybody cared particularly about enhanced purple, but maybe I'm wrong. But they brought that down so that enhancing it matters even less. Gilded Arrow. This is the big change for hunters, I suppose. Down to 3 gold. My opinion, I think it's still possibly, maybe even probably, the best hunter option. The reasoning for that for me is that we weren't seeing other starters picked up to try and bully the lane because the stats on Gilded Arrow aren't that bad. Extra gold as a hunter is always good. Hunters scale off of items. They don't scale off of levels quite as much as other characters do. They scale off of gold. You get your items online to give yourself damage, because most of your damage scaling comes off of your auto attacks rather than off of your abilities, which level up as you level up, obviously. So yeah, I think this removal of 3 gold is a good change, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it removes it from the meta. I still expect Gilded to be the preferred pickup. Ornate. This is a decent change as well. Going to reduce the amount of 3k pots people have. 3k pots, obviously power increase on crit builds is pretty nice. Diamond Arrow, reducing the gold as well. Just trying to make it so hunters builds accelerate a little bit more slowly after they hit level 20. Executioner loses a bit of attack speed. Still think it's going to be core. Atalanta's bow gets some power. It needs pen, not power. It's still bad, I'm pretty sure. Asi, decent little power buff, not very much power. We'll see if that makes a difference. Bluestone loses some HP 5. That, along with the Warrior's Axe changes we saw in the previous patch, I think is maybe where we start to see a shift in the solo lane meta. I think this is a really good change. Honestly, it makes... I mean, you can still brawl in lane and you can still go for kills. You're just less safe. You have less sustain. And now there's a bit more of a drawback of picking up Bluestone. And the upgrade, losing 25 damage per proc, is a really good change as well. I think that went from not being bought at all to being bought. Like, people were selling Bluestone previously when it was being played before it got, I think it got 5 or 10 bonus power on it on a previous patch. But it was being bought still by characters like Tyr and Arthur, and then being sold instead of buying Bluestone Brooch. And then Bluestone Brooch became out on every solo laner. So hopefully this brings us down to a nice middle ground. But I still think we'll see... I think this weekend we'll see both Bluestone and Axe. That's my prediction. Which I think is good. We need more diversity. Reinforced shoes, Reinforcedgreaves. I mean, this is it's a nothing nerf, in my opinion. You don't buy... I mean, you buy them a little. The CCR is nice, obviously, but which items do you really buy for CCR? I don't think there's many or any. And that's kind of what annoys me about CCR. I feel like it's just a stat that's stuck on things. Now it's just getting removed from things. You're losing half the CCR on tank boots. Makes them a little bit less effective. A lot of support builds and solo lane builds even get capped CCR without even trying. So maybe that's going to be a nice change. We shall see. They should remove the CCR off Wingblade as well. I don't know if maybe they're doing that in a future patch, but that would be a good change. Should protect you against both slows and hard CCs. But anyway, I digress. It doesn't matter. People are still going to build it. Purse, we don't care. Gilga gets nerfed again. Still think he's pretty strong. Think we could see him in support. Could see him jungle, could see him solo. He's one that I'm not sure where his true place will be. Maybe the pro players will show us this weekend. I hope we get to see a bit of him. King Arthur change. A little bit of reduced mitigation. I don't mind this. Bluestone's getting a nerf. He's getting a slight change. I think it's not a huge nerf, but yeah. It's he loses 2% mitigation. He's going to take 2% extra damage on max passive, right? So not too bad. Sobek. The slow change, this is weird. I feel like this is almost a buff, the slow change, because I mean Sobek, most of the game you're gonna have your ult at rank 1 or 2 just because you have to be higher level to level it up. What is it? When is it you can put your third point in your roll? Is it 15 or 16? I don't know. I know nothing about Smite chat. Why are you YouTube? Why are you watching me? Who knows? And the decreased protections is good because he does feel too unkillable. I feel like I've always said this. Sobek plucks. He misses the pluck. It's still a good engage because you're fooled into going on him. And he ults and he's unkillable. Scylla change. A little bit less pen. Honor 2. Nice change. Not too bad. Heimdall. Reducing his crit damage a little bit. And increasing the cooldown of the TP. Nice changes. He has a little bit over meta. Oh, Anher's all the way down here. Did they add him in at the end? Was he like a late change? I don't know if it goes alphabetically. No, it doesn't. Sobek, Scylla, Heimdaller. Ymir. Increase the wall cooldown. Nice change. He has been very meta. Don't think it'll affect him too much, but it's just a nice little shift. Anher, 75 seconds to 90 seconds on his ult. Good change. Still think he'll be very, very strong and very highly valued in the SPL. Athena. Some scaling changes on her reach, which is her passive. Throw in a spear thing. Yet. This feature always existed but was not documented. Damage reach does as a multiplier on her basic attack damage rather than a scaling on both her power. Both on her bot power. What's bot power? Basic attack power? Is that what that is? I don't know. A magical power from items. Okay. And confound. They decrease the mana cost. Didn't know Athena needed that. I don't know if this changes much. I feel like Athena's still where she was at, where she'll be picked by good Athenas in the SPL and she won't be picked by other ones. Yeah. We did it. Patch notes, I think. Hopefully that wasn't too... oh god, it's 28 minutes. Hopefully that wasn't too rambly for you. Hopefully you still get something out of this video. Yeah. Hopefully see you all tomorrow for the SPL. I'm excited. I'm glad it's coming back. I've taken Friday off again so we can have a nice fun time together tomorrow night watching the SPL. And then Friday night we've got the draft for the groups. I wonder how they're going to manage that. If they're going to have some captains jump in a call or something, could be cool. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you've been enjoying the sunshine. If you've had a recent burst of it like I have, it's been great. Really up to my mood. I appreciate you all. And yeah, I think that's it. Do all the YouTube stuff. You know the stuff. You know the stuff to do. And I'll see you this weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye.